and spending your time with us this morning. And so I don't have to talk about the first few slides because you've already seen them, right? One of my jobs at Microsoft is in our group we do internal consulting. And maybe I want to first make sure that you've heard, if you have not heard about Microsoft, we're a software company in Redmond, Washington. We ship about 300 products a year in lots of different languages. And we're growing and we span different technologies. We have lots of different technologies. We have products that are small and we have some that are quite large. And so we have lots of different life cycles. We have lots of different testing approaches. And the way that we develop our software, it varies between groups. So one of the things that I do at Microsoft, I work in a group called Engineering Excellence. And the purpose of the group, in 2002, Bill Gates decided one of the things that he wanted to do was get back to engineering as the core business of software development. And so we were looking at ways to improve the effectiveness and the efficiency of our development process, not just from a development standpoint, but also a testing standpoint, because, of course, testing costs the industry a lot of money. It costs everybody a lot of money. With Microsoft especially, we have a pretty big problem in terms of sustained engineering. So when we ship a product, we have to maintain most of our products for 7 to 10 years. So part of so we look at the different ways that we can gain efficiency. We also look at the things that are happening in the technology space and how to best prepare our testers for the future. Some of the things that we look at are immediate and near term, and some of the things that we think about, along with the test leadership team at Microsoft, is what is the world going to look like in 10 or 15 years? Because that's what our research teams are working on right now, and other research teams around the world are working on. And so in order to prepare our testers for that, then we have to think about how is that going to change the way that we test? What do we have to teach them? What are new skills that they have to get? And sometimes many of these skills will transfer out to everyone in the industry sector. So sometimes the things that we think about will eventually affect others in the industry. Some of the factors that I think about when I think about the future are three big factors. The business-facing needs. So what does the business need? Not just Microsoft, but the business in general, and the industry in general. What are some of the problems from a business perspective that we face in testing? Also, the technologies. There's lots of changes in technologies that are coming out. Robotics and the cloud computing paradigm are going to fundamentally change some of the ways that we approach testing. Also, we have the customer. The demands of the customer are unlike the demands that I have in software, simply because, and I'll show you in a minute, that my expectations are probably different than yours, and they're different than my daughter. From a business standpoint, we know that software has bugs. And those bugs are sometimes very catastrophic, meaning they're very bad. Sometimes they're not so bad, but when you accumulate, when you have bug after bug after bug, even if it's minor, there's this impression that the software is not of high quality, or that the software is not providing a reasonable value. And the way we look at value is value for money. Am I getting a reasonable value from the software for the money that I spend on it? We have lots of things. Of course, the National Institute of Technology had a study where they said $22 billion could be saved with better software testing. I'm not so sure that blaming testing for software bugs is the right thing to do, because testers don't write bugs in software. We certainly can't find all the bugs. Maybe there were different processes. But we can't just simply cast blame to the developers or to the program managers. We have to think about, are there better ways that we can test? Is there information that we're missing, that we're not providing to the leadership, the managers who are making those business decisions? Those are the things that we have to figure out. You know, when we don't necessarily fail if we don't find a bug, we fail if we don't provide the managers the right information. We know when software ships there's going to be bugs, and we're going to try our best to find the right ones. And as software becomes more complex, we have to get better at what we do. Also, there's the thing of from the business-facing side, there's the governmental regulations. So there's Sarbanes-Oxley, and there's other FDA requirements. Microsoft, a few years ago, bought a product called Microsoft Dynamics, which is an ERP-based software. And of course, with ERP-based software, that's a very different paradigm than shipping an operating system. And there's regulations that we have to adhere to that. Microsoft is now also getting into the medical records business. And so, depending on your line of business and what your software is doing, then you may have these different governmental or other regulations that are impacting you. Outsourcing is certainly growing, and it's going to continue. Not just outsourcing, but distributed development. One of the things that's sometimes mistaken when we talk about distributed development, we think about outsourcing, or we think about these distributed development models because it's cheaper to test software in China or in Vietnam or India. And that's not necessarily, of course, that's part of it, but there's a bigger picture. And that bigger picture is, not just where's the workforce, but where is the brain power? One of the things that we tell our new customers coming in, and actually not just the new customers, but all our new engineer employees is, a lot of people think that Microsoft is a software company. Bill Gates said a long time ago, we're not a software company, we're an innovation company. And when you're an innovation company, you're rewarded individually. So the value of the company is the individual. It's the individual that provides value to the company. And it's the individuals who have intellectual property. It's what we know up here that helps our company get better. So we have to think about outsourcing and distributed development and how that impacts our development life cycles and how we can go out and tap the talent pool, the people around the world who can provide value to our companies. Technology is changing, and this is also going to be a big impact. So